Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. Welcome back to another Emmy experiment. If you've missed the 2 previous episodes of this lovely series, I will direct you to links down below where I deconstruct Ben & Jerry's ice creams and see if the doughs will actually bake up and turn into baked goods. So I've done the chocolate chip cookie dough previously. I've also done the brownie batter core. Today, I'm going to be attempting these cinnamon buns. I didn't even know this flavor existed, but of course I looked at every single Ben & Jerry's flavor and I saw cinnamon buns. This ice cream consists of caramel ice cream with cinnamon bun dough and cinnamon streusel swirl. Cinnamon bun dough? Do people eat cinnamon bun dough raw? Is this a thing that I've missed? I mean, real cinnamon buns are made out of yeasted dough, which I don't imagine tasting all that great raw. Although covered in icing and butter, probably would be delicious. But this has me intrigued. Now, they only had 1 pint of this left at the grocery store, so hopefully there'll be enough in here for me to see what I can do with this. Alrighty, let's get started with this. Like my cookie dough recipe, since this is dough, it's going to be thicker in consistency than the actual ice cream itself. So I've let this sit for a few hours in the refrigerator so that the ice cream base can melt, and that way we can separate the dough pieces from the ice cream base. And again, I think I'm going to rechurn the ice cream base and have that with my cinnamon buns, if they turn out. Place my colander into here. And take my ice cream. Smells good. Let's give it a taste. Mmm. Yum. It tastes like cinnamon rolls and cream. Mmm. Reminds me a little bit of horchata, but much kind of richer and creamier. Okay, let's pour this out. So my ice cream base is still a little thick, which is all right because I think we'll still be able to separate the chunks. I'm seeing the chunks, fish them out, and if this ice cream base is relatively solid, then it will freeze up a lot faster. These actually look a lot like the cookie dough pieces. They look like they've been extruded, kind of like pelletized bits of dough, but they don't look like bread dough by any means. Looks more like a cookie dough. Okay, let's taste a dough piece. Ooh, can you hear the crunchy granularity of the sugar in there? That's kind of fun. Ooh, and very, very, very cinnamony, almost spicy. Not like yeasted dough at all. I am going to hypothesize that these are going to turn out more like cookies rather than cinnamon buns. Even though this ice cream is called cinnamon buns, I think it's going to be more cookie-like. Let me go grab the ice cream maker insert. Yeah. It's always nice to have this on hand. I'm going to grab my thrifted ice cream maker. Love this thing. It's worked really well. And it was a bargain. It was a bargain. I paid $6 or $7 for this thing. Such a deal. So put that right there. Now, turn it on. Whoa. Alrighty, so here are the cinnamon bun dough pieces, and I rinsed them off in the sink, and they look like little funny extruded pellets. They look like animal fodder or something. Doesn't look like any kind of cinnamon dough I've ever seen. At any rate, this did come out of ice cream, so I'm gonna pat these dry. I don't want too much of that ice cream base to interfere with the consistency of the dough. Now, if I squish this, it kind of crumbles pretty readily and has a feeling and texture that's a little bit sandy and more like cookie dough rather than any kind of bread or yeasted dough. But I'm going to try this anyways. So using a paper towel, I'm kind of mushing it all together into one piece. I don't know why this made me think this, but it reminded me of when I was a kid and I remember going to daycare and for snack they would sometimes give us Jell-O. And my friends and I thought it would be the funnest and best way to eat Jell-O they'd give us little bowls of it all kind of cubed up and we would eat the Jell-O. I remember it being orange and squish it through our teeth and kind of mash it all up and then spit it back into our bowls and then eat it that way again. I can't believe I'm sharing that with you. That's just totally disgusting. Sorry. Oh man, the things we remember. And on a well-floured surface, then flour my hands and my rolling pin, and I'm gonna roll this out. Okay, it rolls out nicely. A lot like pie dough. I already tasted this dough and it is plenty sweet. It doesn't need any more sugar, but I'm gonna add a little bit more cinnamon and maybe a little bit of butter to kind of give it a little bit of a swirl on the inside. I remember growing up and going to the mall and always walking by Cinnabon, and they would have these great big windows where you could see them actually making the cinnamon buns. And my favorite part was when they rolled the dough out and then they covered it with the cinnamon sugar and the butter. Yeah. And inevitably we'd always get one, and my favorite part was that gooey, doughy middle part that had all of the butter and all of the cinnamon. Yeah. Some people would get extra icing, and I felt like that was a little bit for me, but I haven't thought about Cinnabon in a long time. Okay, so I've got some room temperature butter here. Now I don't want to put too much here because I don't want this to keep it from sticking too. Just a little bit of butter for flavor. I feel like this is some very inelegant episode of those like miniature cooking series where everyone cooks with doll-sized kitchen equipment. Yeah, this is like that, but a little less shiny. Now I'm gonna take some cinnamon, just a little bit, and sprinkle it on here. Mostly really for contrast. There's plenty of cinnamon flavor in here too, but when we roll this up, it'd be nice to have a little swirl, right? So I'm just gonna carefully roll this up. Okay. Try to keep it nice and tight. Oh, this is nice. This is great! Okay. Press, 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 press. Okay. Give everything a good squeeze. Now we're gonna attempt to slice these. Oh man, this is great. Okay, this is so exciting. Yeah! It's like I'm working with polymer clay or something. Okay, get my knife, sharpen this thing. I want this to be cold. Yes! It's got a little swirl. Oh, I'm so happy about that. Well, we'll see how well it holds up in the oven. I suspect that butter will probably melt, but there is a little bit of swirl. Okay, okay. That doesn't mean it's successful, it just means it's cute, right? Oh, yes, see that? Okay. So I'm cutting these in about 1/4-inch slices. We're gonna lay them onto this Silpat lined baking sheet. Put these right here. Now, because this looks a little bit more like cookie dough to me, I'm gonna make sure there's enough room for these to spread. Now, into a 350-degree preheated oven for, I don't know, 6 minutes or until these are done, and we'll see how they come out. But so far, I'm so pleased. Little stinking cinnamon rolls about the size of pennies. Just so ridiculous. All right, into the oven. While the cinnamon buns are cooking, let's go ahead and get our ice cream out of here. This turned up really quickly, much faster than my chocolate chip batch because the ice cream base was a little bit colder and thicker this time. So look at that, beautiful, right? So we have ice cream. And this ice cream is a little bit darker in color because now the cinnamon streusel is mixed in with the ice cream base. I'm not supposed to eat in the laboratory, but you know, it's my laboratory. Dun, 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 dun. And as I suspected, these turned out more like cookies rather than cinnamon buns. So if you think about it, it doesn't really make sense to have raw yeasted dough in ice cream anyways. I don't think it would be all that tasty, number one, and number two, probably not all that sanitary. So makes a lot more sense to have a cookie dough that doesn't have any leavening, it doesn't have any raw eggs in your ice cream because it's delicious and you get that nice kind of chewy dough-like texture as well. Having said that, I'm still pretty pleased with the results of these. These look more like cookies, kind of like flattened snickerdoodle-ish oatmeal cookies. And a couple of them still have their cinnamon swirls, which I think is very, very cute. So a couple of these started to spread very, very quickly. So I pulled these out of the oven around 4 minutes. So let's see what the texture is like. Ooh. So, nice and golden on the bottom, pretty oily, and looks like crisp on the edge, but still kind of soft in the middle. But definitely more cookie-like than anything bun-like. This one has lots of spreading, kind of lacy. It reminds me a bit of a French tuile cookie. So since I have the ice cream churned, and since these don't really look all that much like cinnamon buns, let's make another little ice cream kind of sandwich. Now we'll put some of our churned ice cream right in the middle, and then put a cookie right on top. I'm gonna place this back in the freezer to let it sit up just a little bit. Okay, let's try one of these cookies by itself while the ice cream sandwich is cooling. So thin. Alrighty, here we go. Itadakimasu. It's actually very good. It tastes pretty similar to how it tastes before I baked it. Really great cinnamon flavor with some buttery flavor as well. It tastes exactly like the crumb topping on top of coffee cake. If you ever get those coffee cakes with those little pelletized cinnamon bits on top, it tastes exactly like that. The texture is different. Now it's a little bit kind of chewy and slightly crisp, and that grainy texture of the granulated sugar is gone. It's kind of melted and turned into something else. But the flavor is really intensely cinnamon. It's good. It's definitely not a cinnamon bun. Definitely not. Oh, I know why these are so oily. It's because I filled them with butter. I definitely recommend the butter though, because the butter makes it taste fresh and gives it that really great buttery flavor, but also combines with the sugars in there. It kind of makes it kind of caramelized and just delicious, absolutely delicious. The texture reminds me a little bit of a very thin, chewy oatmeal cookie. And here is my beautiful ice cream sandwich with our cinnamon ice cream in the middle. Mmm. Oh, that's good. The ice cream cools the cookie off, so it heightens the kind of crisp, chewy texture of it. Delicious. Then you get the creamy ice cream in the middle. The flavor of cinnamon is echoed again in the ice cream as well. So in conclusion, did we arrive to cinnamon buns? We did not. Did we make something delicious? Absolutely. Alrighty, thank you guys so much for joining me for yet another Emmy kitchen experiment. Let me know down in the comments below if there are any other experiments you'd like to see me test out or try. Thanks again for watching. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, and subscribe. And I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye!
Cookies! We want cookies!